Hello everyone, welcome to session 23 of Theory of Computation or Formal Languages and Automata Theory. So in today's session we are going to discuss about the normal forms. First of all we will learn what is the normal form, what is the necessity of this normal form, and what are the different ways that we can use for bringing the context free grammar into the normal forms. Okay, so in the previous session we have seen that the context free grammar can be simplified by applying the three techniques. The first one was elimination of useless symbols and productions, second one was the elimination of epsilon productions, and third one was the elimination of unit productions. We have applied all these three techniques for simplifying the context free grammar in the previous sessions. Okay. In today's session, we will learn about this normal form. So let me explain this concept of normal form here. So what is a normal form? So generally, this normal form restricts the number of symbols in the body of the production. Okay. So here, let me clarify here one thing. What is the body of the production? So generally, whenever we write the production, it is going to have the LHS. Okay. So LHS which is at the left side of arrow, and RHS which is at right hand side of the arrow, right? So we are going to have the two parts in the production. So this left part we will call it as a head of the production, right? And right hand side that we are having, it is going to be called as body of the production. So here we are discussing about the context free grammar. So throughout this unit, we were discussing about this context-free grammar. So when we can say that a grammar is in context-free grammar, so whenever we are having the production of the form, V denotes V union T star. Whenever we have the production of this form, V denotes V union T star, then the grammar is considered as a context-free grammar, right? So whenever we write the production rules in this format, V denotes the V union T star, then that grammar is considered as a context-free grammar, right? So if you observe the production here, capital V is nothing but the variable. So in the left hand side, we are going to have only one variable, right? And this variable, left hand side variable, we are going to call it as head of the production. So this is the head, okay, the head of the production. And in the right hand side, you are going to have any combination of variables and terminals. That means V union T star. So if you observe here in the right hand side, that means body of the production, there is no restriction on the number of symbols that may occur in the body, isn't it? So by generally by writing the production rules in a context free grammar, the body of the production may have any number of symbols. Okay, so it may have any number of variables, terminals, combination of variables and terminals. So there is no restriction on the number of symbols in the right hand side of the production rule or the body of the production rule, right? So what happens if we are going to have uh, such type of production rules in our grammar? So since there are no restriction on the number of symbols in the body of the productions, the grammar requires more processing time. Okay, so let me say one production I have written like this: capital A denotes it is having some 100 symbols in the body of the production, right? So what will happen? So in order to derive the string by applying that production rule will take more time. Why? Because we are having 100 symbols in the body of the production. Okay, and moreover we have to check whether the symbol is a terminal or a variable. If it is terminal, it's okay, but if it is a variable, again we have to replace that variable with its definition, right? So since there is no upper bound on the number of variables or the symbols that may present in the right hand side or the body of the production, the grammar is going to take more time. That means the grammar requires more processing time. So here, whenever I am saying that grammar processing time, it means that generation of string from the grammar or checking of a string with respect to the grammar is going to take more time, right? So how do we minimize that processing time? So the answer is normal form. So by using this normal form, by using this normal form, we can restrict the number of symbols in the body of the production. Okay, so what happens if we restrict the number of symbols in the body of the production? What happen? Because uh, here all the rules are following some predefined structure, and moreover the variables or the symbols, terminal symbols and the variables are restricted in the body of the production, then the grammar processing time can be minimized. Okay, so here we are going to discuss how to convert the given context free grammar into the normal form. Okay, generally there are two normal forms. The first one is Chomsky normal form and next one is Greibach normal form. So we will discuss these concepts in detail with example. So first we discuss about the Chomsky normal form followed by the Greibach normal form. So first one, what is a Chomsky normal form? So Chomsky normal form is also called as CNF. Okay, Chomsky normal form. A context-free grammar is said to be in Chomsky normal form if all the productions are in the form either in A denotes capital BC, that means capital A is a variable, it is denoting the two variables BC. Okay, so capital A denotes capital BC, or capital A denotes a terminal symbol. Okay, so if the productions are written in this form, then that particular CFG will be considered as in CNF. Okay, so here we are, by seeing these two rules, we can say that we are going to have either two variables in the body of the production or only one terminal in the body of the production. So here, if we consider the productions in this form, we are going to have a restriction on the number of symbols in the body of the production, right? So here if you observe, if we are having a variables in the body of the production, those are restricted to exactly two variables, right? So we are going to have only two variables in the body of the production, or if you are interested to denote a terminal, then exactly one terminal is allowed in the body of the production. So the productions will be in this form. Okay, if a variable is denoting the if a variable is denoting the other variables, means the number of variables in the body of the production must be 2. Okay, if a variable is denoting the terminal, means the number of terminal symbols in the body of the production must be only 1. Okay, so a variable may denote two variables, or a variable may denote one terminal, right? So if the productions are written in this form, then the CFG will be considered as in CNF, in Chomsky normal form. Okay, so where capital A, capital B and capital C are the variables and capital A is a terminal. So here capital A, capital B, capital C are the variables and small a is a terminal. Okay, now a context-free grammar, capital G is equal to V comma T comma P comma S. So we already know that a grammar can be expressed mathematically by using the four tuples. So G is equal to V comma T comma P comma S is a context-free grammar. If it is converted into CNF, Chomsky normal form, by applying the rules, so here we are having certain rules for converting the CFG into CNF. So if the given grammar is G is equal to VTPS, after converting it into CNF, the resultant grammar will be considered as G dash is equal to V dash comma T dash comma P dash comma S. So whenever we convert the given context-free grammar into CNF, the grammar will get changed. That means the number of variables get changed. That means the number of variables may increase. The next one, number of terminal symbols may increase. The production rules may be added, but the start symbol will remain same. Okay, so that's why we consider that the change in the grammar as G dash is equal to V dash comma T dash comma P dash comma S. So what it means, whenever a given grammar CFG is not in CNF, we'll apply the rules to convert it into CNF. And the moment when we convert the given grammar G is equal to VTPS into CNF, the grammar will get changed. So that resultant grammar we are representing here with G dash is equal to variable, set of variables will get changed. So V dash comma set of terminal symbols may get changed. So that's why we are representing it by using P dash. Set of production rules may also change. So that's why P dash. S is the start symbol. So as I mentioned earlier that the start symbol will remain same in any of the format of the grammar that you are getting. Okay. So whatever may be the form of the grammar that you are getting, throughout those formats or forms, the start symbol will remain same. It will never change. Okay. Next one. So let us have a look on the rules for converting the CFG into CNF. So this is a very easy procedure. So just you need to concentrate on these rules. So here the same point I mentioned here, a context-free grammar G is equal to V comma T comma P comma S, which can be converted into CNF by applying the following steps. The equivalent grammar in CNF is G dash is equal to V dash comma T dash comma P dash comma S. So this is the resultant grammar, right? So let us have a look on the rules that we use for converting the CFG into CNF. Okay. First thing, eliminate the epsilon production. Then second point, eliminate the unit productions. Third point, eliminate useless symbols and productions. So these three steps are indicating that before converting it into CNF, the CFG must be simplified one. That means first thing you have to convert the context-free grammar into simplified context-free grammar. Okay, that means you have to simplify the given context-free grammar. So how do you simplify means you have to apply these three steps in a sequence. The first one, eliminate the epsilon productions. So whenever a context-free grammar is given, you have to check whether there are any epsilon productions or not. If there are epsilon productions, you have to eliminate it by applying the strategy that we discussed in the previous sessions. Next, eliminate the unit productions. So here, if you observe, elimination of epsilon production leads to the generation of unit production. So whenever you eliminate the epsilon productions, definitely that elimination of epsilon production will raise to the unit production. Okay, so definitely you are going to get unit production. So second step is that eliminate the unit production. So once you eliminate the unit productions, you may get useless production. Okay, so third step that you have to apply here is eliminate useless symbols and production. So this is the order in which you have to simplify the given context free grammar. Okay, if the given grammar is free from these things, these three things, that means epsilon productions, unit production, and useless symbols and productions, then you can directly start working from fourth point. Okay, fourth rule. Okay. So generally, whenever a given context-free grammar is having these epsilon productions, first eliminate that. Then, if it is having unit productions, eliminate the unit productions. And third one, eliminate the useless symbols and productions, if any. Okay. So after simplifying, let us move towards the fourth point or fourth rule. For each production of the form, capital A denotes capital B's key or capital A denotes a small a. So consider that we are having these types of productions in the given grammar P. Since these two productions are in CNF, so we can directly add such production rules in P dash. So already I mentioned that P is nothing but set of production rules in the given CFG. P dash is nothing but set of production rules in the resultant CFG. Okay, that means after bringing that grammar into CNF, the set of production rules will be represented as P dash. So resultant production set is called P dash. So whenever there are certain productions in the given grammar are in CNF, then you can directly add those productions into P dash. Okay, and all the variables will be added to V dash. Okay, so whatever the variables are there, uh, in those production rules, those variables can be added to v dash. Okay, and same is the case, you can directly add the terminals to the t dash. Okay, so you can also add the terminals in those productions to the t dash variable. Okay, so this is the step 4. Next, step 5 or rule number 5. Consider the production of the form a denotes x1 x2 so on xn. So if you observe here in this production, body of the production is having multiple symbols here, right? A denotes x1, x2, so on xn, where n is greater than or equal to 2. So here in the body of the production we are having the symbols more than 2. Okay, so up to 2 variables are allowed. Okay, or up to one terminal is allowed. But here in this production rules we are having multiple symbols in the body of the production, right? So here you could see n is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, consider that xi, so whatever the x1 x2 xn we have written, each xi is considered as a terminal. So let me consider xi is a terminal. Okay, is a terminal. Okay, xi is a symbol or terminal. So to convert it into cnf, what we have to do is that each xi must be replaced with a variable that is called as t suffix a. Okay, t base a. So t base a is nothing but, here we are saying that it is a variable, right? So we are replacing the terminal a with a variable ta. Okay, so here this suffix part, or this one we can base part, we can call it as it is indicating the terminal symbol, right? So here we are replacing a, means this a is going to be replaced with a variable ta, right? So t base a means it is a indication that a terminal is denoted by this variable ta, right? Same is the case if we are having a terminal b, you can replace that terminal b with tb. Okay, tb, right? So by seeing this variable name you can directly figure out that tb is nothing but a variable which we have substituted in place of terminal symbol b, right? Because that production was not in the cnf, right? So if we are having a terminal symbol like something like x, small x, then in that situation you can replace the terminal symbol x with a variable t base x. Okay, right? So So this is how we can use the subscripts, right? So TX, TA, TB, these are the subscripts that we use for replacing a terminal symbol if we are having more than one terminal symbol in the body of the production, right? So let me give one example. Here, uh, capital S denotes small a, capital B, right? So capital S is denoting small a, capital B. So by seeing this production rule, we can directly say that this production rule is not in CNF. Why? Because the production rule may contain either two variables or one terminal symbol in the body of the production. But here in this example, one is the terminal symbol and another one is the variable symbol, right? So such combination is not there in the CNF, right? So what we have to do is that to make it in a CNF or to convert it into CNF, this variable, this terminal symbol A is replaced with a non-terminal, right? So how do we replace? So S denotes, so as I mentioned that A is a terminal symbol, right? So A is a terminal symbol means we have to replace it with a variable. So how do we replace? By adding a new variable. What is that new variable? TA. Okay, and this B will remain same. Now you could see S denotes TA B. So it is in CNF. Why? Because TA is one variable and B is another variable. So in CNF you may have variables, two variables in the body of the production. Okay. Now what is this TA we have substituted? What is this TA? TA is nothing but our A, small a. So you could write TA denotes small a. Okay. TA denotes small a, right? So see here, we have converted this S denotes small a, capital B into CNF form, right? So here S denotes small a capital B is the given grammar. After converting it into CNF, we got another variable, okay, and there is a change in the production rule set, right? So in the given production, in the given grammar, we have only one production rule, right? But in the resultant grammar, we have two production rules, right? So that's why we are saying it as P dash, right? And next, in the given CFG, we have only two variables, but in the resultant CFG, we are going to have three variables: S comma capital B comma TA, capital T base A, three variables, right? And next, terminal symbols, in this context we are having same, that is small a, right? And production set, we are having two productions, whereas in the given grammar we are having only one production, right? So this is how we can convert that CFG into CNF. So this is what about the rule 5, right? So rule 5 is saying that if we are having more than one terminal symbol in the body of the production, then we have to convert that terminal into the variable, right? So for that we have to introduce a new variable, okay, and we have to add the new production, right? So here each xi is a variable, so that xi is going to replace with a new variable t base a, okay, ta, and add the new productions to P dash and variables to V dash. So whatever the new productions that we add, that will be added to P dash and variables will be added to V dash. So what is the new production here? TA denotes small a. So that is the new production. So it could be added to P dash. What is the new variable here? TA. So that will be added to V dash. Okay. So that is the meaning. So I have explained the same thing here with an example. I justified that point with an example. Okay. Next, last rule, rule number 6. So consider we are having a production in the given CFG in the form A denotes capital A1, capital A2, capital A3, capital AN, where n is greater than or equal to 3. So here we are having a form in which we are having more than two variables, right? So more than two variables. So in this case, then what we will do? So we have to bring those productions into CNF by adding the new variable, right? So by adding the new variable. So let me explain one example first, then you could understand this rule. So let me say B C. Okay. So let me start with one simple example. So this is the production rule. A denotes capital B, C, D, right? So here, this is not in the CNF. This is not in the CNF. What is the reason? Because it is having more than two variables. So it is having more than two variables. So what we have to do is that we have to convert it into CNF by adding one variable, right? So how do we add? Just C. So first thing you write that head as it is. A denotes, right? Right. So at most two variables are allowed, but here we are having three variables. So what we have to do is that first of all write the first variable as it is. So what is the first variable? B. So write that variable as it is. So after that we are having two variables, but in the CNF only one variable is allowed. So what we will do, we will write the B as it is, and rest of the part we are going to represent it by using one imaginary variable k1. Okay. So understood. So here the first variable you can write as it is. The remaining part, that means if you have any number of variables, then those variables will be represented with a variable k1, right? So that part we are going to represent with k1. Why? Because we are allowed with only one variable, right? So because B is already fixed, so one variable done. So afterwards only one variable is allowed, but in the given grammar, given production, we are having CD. So that CD part can be replaced with one imaginary variable k1, right? Now what is this k1? K1 is nothing but it is consisting of CD. So you can directly write CD. So see here. Now if you observe this one, it is in CNF. A denotes a B K1. Okay. Next K1 denotes a CD. Right. So that is the rule number 6. Okay. So here if you observe what it is saying, A denotes A1, A2, A3, so on, AN. n is greater than or equal to 3. That means if you are having more than two variables, then we have to convert that production rule into CNF by adding the new production. How do you add? First take A, then next take the variable A1 as it is. The remaining part you have to represent with K1. Okay. Next, what is the K1? K1 denotes what is the first variable in K1 part? It starts with A2. So K1 denotes A2. Afterwards, we are going to have A3, A4, so on, AN. So that part we are going to represent with K2. Right. Next, what is K2? K2 is nothing but it denotes A3. After that, we are having sequence of A4, A5, so on, AN. So that part we have to represent with K3. Right. So on, we have to follow the sequence until we get this sequence. That is Kn minus 2 denotes An minus 1 An. Okay. So finally, this is the final K rule that we will get for the sequence of variables in the body of the production. Okay. So all these productions will be added to P dash and the newly inserted variables will be added to V dash. Okay. So let me explain this rule with one example here. So see here, in example 1, I am having the production rule A denotes B, C, D, E, right? So how many variables here we are having? 4 variables. So it is in a form A denotes A1, A2, A3, A4. A1, A2, A3, A4, right? A denotes A1, A2, A3, A4. So whenever we have this format, what we will do? We will split that production into CNF by adding the newer rules and the newer variables, right? So first thing we write the production rule A denotes what is A denotes A1 K1, right? So what is the A1 in the production rule? That is B. So you write that first symbol variable B as it is, right? Afterwards we are having C, D, E, three variables, but only one variable is allowed in the CNF after B. So what we will do, we will convert CDE. That means we will denote CDE part with a variable K1. Okay, done. Next, what is this K1 consisting of? K1 consisting of, it is having, that means it begins with C, so C will remain same. Afterwards, we are having two variables, right? But we can represent only one variable after C, so that the DE part can be represented with a variable K2, right? Done. Next, K2 denotes, what is the remaining part? DE. Since we are having two variables exactly, so we can directly write K2 denotes DE. Okay. Now, if we observe, let us check whether it is satisfying these rule or not. So first thing we have written like this, A denotes, B means A1. Okay. The next one, the remaining part we represent it with K1. Okay. Then what is this K1? K1 denotes C. C is nothing but our A2 as per our rule. Okay. Next, K2. The remaining part is K2. Next, what is K2? K2 denotes D. D is nothing but A3 and E is nothing but A4. Right? So if you observe, it is following this form only, right? So A denotes A1 K1, okay. K1 denotes A2 K2, and next we are having Kn minus 2 denotes An minus 1 An. So what is n value here? N means number of variables in the right hand side. So how many variables in the right hand side? We are having 4 variables. So 4 K4 minus 2 Kn minus 2 denotes uh, an minus 1. An minus 1 means n is 4 minus 1. N means 4. Okay. So now it is K 4 minus 2 2 denotes A3 A4. Okay. Now which implies that it is nothing but K2 denotes What is A3 in our given example? A3 is D, A4 is E. That's it. So by applying that rule, we got this form. Okay. I think this is clear for you. Okay. Let us go with example 2. A denotes small a, capital B, capital C. Right. So capital A denotes small a followed by capital B, capital C. So by seeing this production, we can say that it is not in CNF. Why? Because only one variable is allowed, but we are having one variable followed by, sorry, one terminal followed by two variables, right? So in such situations, what we will do, it is the rule number 5, right? So whenever we have this variable, sorry, this terminal along with some variables, we have to convert that terminal with a variable. Okay, so we have to replace that terminal with a variable. So first to convert that terminal symbol into a variable by rewriting this production rule. So how do we write? Capital A denotes TABC. Okay, TABC. What is TA? TA denotes small a. So in place of small a, we have written a variable TA. Sorry, T base a. What is T base a? It is denoting the small a. So this is the rewritten rule. Now first rule is not in CNF. Second one is in CNF, right? So since it is in CNF, it can be directly added to P dash. Okay, you can add this variable TA to V dash and terminal small a to T dash. Okay. Now take the production which is not in the CNF. So it is not in CNF. A denotes the TABC. So not in CNF. So we are having three variables, right? So A denotes T base A B C. So we are having three variables. So we have to apply the rule 6 here to bring it into CNF, right? So what we will do, same thing which we have discussed now, rule 6. So to write A denotes the first variable, you can directly write, that is TA. The remaining variables you can represent it with one variable k1, right? Now k1 denotes capital BC. Okay, capital B and capital C. So these rules are in CNF, right? So add these productions to P dash and variables to V dash, terminals to T dash. Okay, so this is how we can convert the CFG into CNF, right? So we will discuss with one example here. Reduce the given grammar into CNF. Okay, so we have to reduce this grammar into CNF. So first thing, we have to represent the given grammar as G is equal to V comma T comma P comma S. So first represent the given grammar into this four tuple notation, right? So what is V? V is equal to set of S comma A comma B comma D, capital D. Next, what is T? T is equal to set of terminals small a comma small b comma small d. Okay, terminals already defined. P is equal to write down the productions by separating them a comma or semicolon, whatever it may be. So generally use semicolon. S denotes small a capital A D comma capital A denotes small a b comma, this is not or, comma. Then capital A denotes BAB, BAB. So better to write those production rules by separating them with comma. Okay. Next, capital B denotes small b, capital D denotes small d. Okay. Now what is the start symbol? So S is equal to our S only, because the given start symbol is S only. So that will be S equal to S. Okay. Now step 1 is check for epsilon production. That means simplify the given context free grammar. So first check for epsilon productions. So since there are no epsilon productions, write that first step as there are no epsilon productions. Okay. Check for unit productions. Are there any unit productions? So there are no unit productions. So write down that step 2 as there are no unit productions. Okay. Useless symbols and productions. Do we find any useless symbols and productions? So already I told you that if you practice that technique, you can directly figure out. So if you, by looking this grammar rules, you can figure out whether a variable is reachable from S or not. So S denotes small a, capital D. So capital A is reachable from S. Again A is having variable B. So from A, B is reachable and D is already reachable from S. So all the variables A, B and D are reachable from S. So there are no useless symbols and production rules too. So third point mentioned that there are no useless symbols and productions, right? Next, fourth point, check for the productions which are in CNF and add them to P dash. Okay, add the variables to V dash and terminals to T dash. So which production rules are in CNF? So B denotes small b, it is in CNF. Capital D denotes small d, it is in CNF. So these two production rules are in CNF. So add them to P dash. Okay, and add the variables to V dash. What are the variables? B comma D. Okay, those must be copied to V dash. Next, T dash is equal to what are the terminal symbols related to those productions? B comma small d. B comma small d. So those terminals we have to add to the T dash. Okay. Now, now consider the production which are not in CNF. So first production, take it. S denotes small a capital D. So consider that production. So it is not in CNF. So here we are having a terminal, right? Whereas the remaining symbols are variable. So first thing you have to replace that terminal with a variable. So S denotes, replace this A with TA variable. So S denotes TA followed by AD. Okay. What is TA? TA denotes small a. So like this we have to rewrite. So after rewriting, we can find that the first production is not in CNF, the second production is in CNF. So you can directly add this production rule, second production rule to P dash. So you will get a new production in P dash. TA denotes small a, right? So add that variable TA to V dash, T base A to V dash, and add that terminal small a to T dash, small a to T dash. Okay, done. Next, consider this production which is not in CNF. S denotes TAAD. Okay, TA followed by capital A, capital D. So we apply the rule 6. So S denotes TA. We will write as it is. The remaining A and D we can represent that part with K1, with one variable K1. So the moment when we do this, it comes into the CNF form. Okay. Next, what is this K1? K1 is denoting AD, capital AD. So it will also comes into this CNF form, right? So add these production rules to P dash, the variables S and K1 to V dash. Okay. And if any terminals are there, add it to T dash. Okay. So that's it for this particular production. Okay. Next, take the second production, capital A denotes small a, capital B, and bring it into CNF. So consider this production, capital A denotes small a, capital B. So it is not in CNF. So first represent that small a with TA. Okay. So A denotes TAB. So it is in CNF. So add this production to production set P dash. Next, consider the next production, capital A denotes small b, capital AB. So capital A denotes small b, capital A, capital B. So first represent small b with a variable. So it will use the form capital A denotes TB, AB, capital A, capital B. What is TB? TB denotes small b. So the first will not, the first production rule is not in CNF. The second rule TB denotes small b is in CNF. Okay. So add this production rule to P dash and variable TB to the V dash and small b to T dash if it is not there. Okay. So if it is already there, no need to add small b to T dash. If it is already there, uh, if it is not there, you have to add. Next one. Now this form A denotes TB, capital A, capital B is not in CNF. So we have to convert it into CNF. So apply the rule 6. So write down it as A denotes TB. Then AB part we have to represent with another variable. Let me call it as K2. Why I am using K2 means I have already used the K1, right? So in the previous production I have used the K1. So here I have to use K2, right? So K2. So K2 denotes capital A, capital B. Okay, so both are in CNF. So add these productions to P dash, variables A and K2 to V dash. Okay, and if any terminal symbols are there, add it to T dash. Okay, Now rewrite all the production rules. So first we represented S denotes small a, capital D with these two. S denotes TA K1, K1 denotes AD. So write that rule. Okay. Next, A denotes small ab. We represented it with A denotes TAB. Okay. And next, capital A denotes B followed by capital A. Capital B is represented by A denotes TBK2. Write that as it is. Okay. Next, K2 denotes AB. Okay. Next, write down the remaining productions. TA denotes a small a, TB denotes a small b, capital B denotes small b, capital D denotes small d. Right? So this is the procedure for converting the given grammar into CNF. Sorry. So here we are having G dash is equal to V dash comma T dash comma P dash comma S. So this is the resultant grammar that we represent it with G dash. Okay. So try to practice these two examples. Convert the given CFG into CNF. So here, by looking at this productions rule, we can directly convert. S denotes small b capital A. So it is not in CNF. So small b will be replaced with a variable TB. So S denotes TBA. Okay. Next, we are having small a b capital B. So small a is replaced with a variable TA. That b will remain as it is. Okay. Now specify what is this TB and what is this TA. So TA is denoting small a, TB is denoting small b, right? So by writing these two rules, the first production rule in the given grammar will comes into CNF. Okay. Next, capital A denotes B, small b, capital AA, right? So how do we write? So first we will write A denotes, in place of terminal symbol small b, we can write TB. The remaining part, we are having the variables, those can be represented with K1. Okay, K1. Next, we are having AS. So A will be replaced with TA, TAS. A denotes a small a. No change is required here because it is already in CNF, right? So now what is this K1? K1 is nothing but A followed by A. So K1 is nothing but A followed by A. Okay. TA denotes small a, we have already added, so no need to write that rule again and again. So it is in CNF, right? So next rule, B denotes small a, capital BB. So how do we write? B denotes TA, B denotes TA. BB part we can represent it with K2. So TA followed by K2, or BS. BS will be represented as TBS. Okay, and this B will remain as it is because only one terminal symbol we are having. Now what is this K2? K2 is representing two B's. B followed by B, capital B followed by capital B. Okay. TB denotes small b already added, so no need to add it again or write it here again. So this is the CNF. Okay. So if you are aware of these rules, you can directly write it within a minutes of time. Okay. Next one. S denotes ABCA, B denotes BCAB, capital A denotes a small a, capital C denotes small a followed by capital B or small b. So convert it into CNF. So first take the production 1, it is in CNF, so no change is required. Production B denotes BC or AB. Second production is also in CNF, no change is required. Next, A denotes small a, it is in CNF. Next, C denotes small a, capital B, it is not in CNF, right? So how do we write? Capital C denotes, replace this terminal A with variable TA. So small c denotes TA, B or B, that is in CNF. Next, what is this TA? TA denotes small a. So this is the way in which we can convert the given CFG into CNF. Okay. So this problem is also important in gate point of view. Okay. So just you need to practice these 6 rules, and along with you must have a clarity on this simplification of context free grammar, right? So because these are the linked concepts. So if you know the simplification of CFG concept, then only you can able to convert that CFG into CNF. Okay. So in the next session, we will discuss about the GNF, Greibach normal form. Okay. So meanwhile, practice this session, practice the problems which we discussed in this session. And if you feel any difficulty, just try to get in touch with me. I will explain the doubts or any other related problems in the coming sessions. Okay, thank you for attending this session.